From the grounds of Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey, Comcast Channel 5 presents the Adam Taliaferro Foundation's 17th Annual All-Star Football Classic. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Shawn Leary. Great to be back here at Rowan University to be a part of this fine football game, sponsored by the South Jersey Football Coaches Association. And Shawn, this is something very special, not only for us at Comcast, but for these young gentlemen, an opportunity to showcase their skills amongst the elite football players in our region.
Well, like you said, I mean, there's still some guys out here who are trying to look at maybe possibly getting into playing some college ball, and this gives them a real chance to showcase their skills, and maybe they latch on, especially if they're going on to walk on to a program, to see how they can play against some of the best players that are going to be playing Division I, Division I AA, Division II football, and of course Division III football. A lot of these guys are going to compete in the fall, and it's just an exciting game. It's the culmination of a season, Rob, that we have here on Comcast. It's the final event, high school event. Even though it's not per se the high school event, it's the high school kids getting together for the last time before we get on to the next year. So it's very exciting for everyone, including us.
Kicking off for the White Squad, someone from our local viewing area, Del Thomas, one of the premier kickers in South Jersey, will boot it away for the White team. And we're underway here from Rowan University. Ball taken at the 11-yard line. And the Blue Squad, number 21, Khalif Wilson, a true burner on that team, tripped up. 8-yard return, first down and 10 for the Blue Squad.
Yeah, Del Thomas, a true weapon for the White Squad, a great leg. We've seen him here on Comcast for a couple of years now, and that really puts you in a hole when you have, first down and 10 starting from your own 19, and this defense is primed for a big game for the White Squad. They are pretty happy with some of the big fellows up front.
Something to keep an eye on as Mark Schenauer from Absegami will come out underneath center. Keep an eye on Schenauer, handing off to Hevelo. They were partners in crime at Absegami, one of the top programs in South Jersey this past year. Both of them will go on to play collegiately. And Hevelo in the backfield, and a quick bubble screen. And again, it's to the burner, Khalif Wilson, and the ball is loose. And tackle is made. Khalif Wilson, a captain of this team out of Pleasantville, the coaching squad of the Blue, very impressed. Again, naming him a captain, the head coach of the Blue, Bill Fisher, Dennis Scuderi from Middle Township, Rick McManus from Seneca, and assistant Ryan Smith, Jeff Hinson, Steve Hale, Jeff Massey, and Frank Holmes, who was the general manager last year and the year prior. Once again, the general manager helped us quite a bit with some of our information to start this game. Second down, and it's Hevelo who gets the handoff, and he should have enough for the first down. That running right up the gut, a bit of a surprise because this White Squad really boasts a great defensive line.
Yeah, anchored by the big fellow from Paulsboro, Demetrius Hester, who we've seen for a number of years here on Channel 5, who's got a lot of girth. Hard to move him. He's one of the elite wrestlers also in the state, going to Delaware next fall, and he's a hard guy to move. Even to move him around a little bit is very difficult. There you see him.
Number 55. And Schenauer, the quarterback, will walk on at Delaware, try to be a wide receiver. Of course, you see him now as the quarterback, as he was for the Braves of Absegami. He rolls to his right, has a man in the flat, nicely caught and brought down. A gain of about 8 yards. And there you see some of the skills of Steve Fortune out of Bridgeton.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that, we've seen Absegami, Rob, for the last couple of years in this game with some of the quarterbacks that they've had here. And they just love to throw the ball. They like to spread it out, move it through the air. And they always have a good quarterback at Absegami, and that's something that they've been able to showcase at this All-Star event over the last couple of seasons.
So a short second down here for the Blue Squad. They move the ball off of the opening kick, again up the middle, and not much there this time. Pushing back the ball carrier, Semenecki from Haddonfield, along with a ton of other white players. That'll be close to a first down.
It's interesting to see Demetrius Hester, a Paulsboro guy, playing alongside of the enemy, Tom Murdoch from West Effort. Both them guys had a terrific week of practice, and it's kind of fun to see the rivalries, how they're playing with one another after they played 4 years against one another. You know, and that's just kind of neat to see those guys and how they gel throughout this week.
1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 41. Again, the handoff to Evelo, and nothing doing there. Tripped up, and Marcus Valentine, amongst others, on the tackle.
Yeah, it looked like Terrell Mack from Washington Township, and I think the blue squad was really concerned with him. There you see him, number 50, who is really one of the guys that you would say he could be unblockable here tonight. He's just a fantastic linebacker. Made a big name for himself at Washington Township, defensive lineman, and he's just a tough kid. And it's going to be difficult with these guys, with Mack, Murdoch, and Hester up front. I mean, it's a difficult task for that blue squad to try to move the ball through that middle of that defense.
2nd down, and again the screen set up. Schenauer avoiding the tackles of the ongoing white squad and finds something out of nothing. A tremendous individual effort by Schenauer, as it looked like he was going to be sacked. Instead, he picks up about 6.
We got to give credit to the offensive line. Watch them hold the blocks here. I don't know if we're going to have that, but they're going to hold the blocks here. Watch Schenauer. He does a nice job just rolling. He's going to be able to sidestep a tackle here. And then nice job not giving up on the play. There you see number 64. That's Dominic Marinelli out of Egg Harbor Township, getting a block and staying with it. Sometimes offensive linemen will release when they think the ball is possibly going past and is thrown, but that was a nice job of Marinelli holding on.
Evelo with the 2nd effort, more than enough for the 1st down. Again, slipping through the tackle of Marcus Valentine. And it's 1st down and 10 now for the blue squad. So Schenauer really making it happen, not only avoiding tackles, but a great job to stay on his feet earlier.
Yeah, that's one of the things you look at this guy. Great footwork from Schenauer. Well coached down at Absegami. He's got a terrific arm, and we expected to see him kind of showcase himself. I mean, you got some good quarterbacks here, and you expect to see some deep balls by both squads and some precision passing coming over the middle from again.
Again, it's Evelo, his 4th carry, and this time he's dropped for a loss.
Swallowed that time by Derek Gray of Penn Saucon. They're going to rotate a lot of defensive linemen in and out. Coach Michael McBride, from Winslow Township wants to move a lot of guys in and out. It's a very hot and humid night, and that's one of his plans is get guys out. You see Demetrius Hester coming out now. Some other guys coming in. You want to keep them fresh.
4 carries, 11 yards for Evelo. He joked in some of the pre-game interviews that he wanted to carry the ball 25 times today. Of course, quite a few fine running backs on this blue squad. It's going to be hard pressed to get the ball that often. Again, a quick screen, and that will fall incomplete. So that'll bring up a long 3rd down for the blue.
This is something they didn't want to have happen, is to get in 3rd and long situations. You have good ends, good pass rush, a fine secondary, and they were afraid that maybe with that defense of the white squad that they were going to limit them to yards up the middle, and that was going to force them into these 3rd and longs.
2 for 3 Schenauer on the evening thus far for 15 yards. 3rd down. Call it 11. Out of the shotgun. Schenauer with Evelo. 2 receivers split left. 14 split right. Good time. Schenauer throws it up into coverage. Knocked down. Well defended by the white squad's Arvon Clark out of Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah, Clark does a terrific job. He's basically just waiting for this ball to come down. See good blocks up front. Offensive line does its job, but Clark is there to just bat that one away. Nice job by him, and forces the blue squad to punt here. We don't have a running time clock. Last night the clock was struck by lightning. Excuse me, the scoreboard was struck by lightning here at Rowan University. So
the white squad will begin.
We're just going to guess at the time.
Well, the punt by John Whelan out of Cumberland finds itself in the end zone for the touchback. 6:23 remaining in the first quarter, Shawn.
That sounds good to me. I'll tell you, 6:23 sounds fine. I'm all right with that.
And the white squad will come out and have the football for their first time this evening. It'll be Andrew Daly, the big quarterback out of Eastern High School. He'll be on his way to Towson University. Again, a quick screen. He finds Chad Holtzapfel out of Audubon, and Daly very impressed with Holtzapfel this week in practice.
Yeah, this is a guy that, you know, you might sneak in, you might see him sneak in there and pick up some big third down conversions. He's a guy with sure hands. He's going to make the catch. He's not afraid to get hit. A tough kid out of Audubon that played in that Colonial Conference. When you're going up against teams like West Effort and Paulsboro, going over the middle, sometimes you can pay for it. And this is a guy that you might want to look at doing third down and long situations because he's a sure-handed guy. But they have some burners on this team.
3 wide receivers set, and it's going to be the handoff. And still on his feet and finally knocked backwards. It looked to be Lamar Lancaster from Woodbury.
Yeah, he had a terrific week of practice, and they were really impressed with his skills. And Lancaster's from Woodbury. We've seen him for a few years, and he's a guy that can pick the holes. Now he's got to be loving this. He sees all these big guys up front. You know, Woodbury, a small Group 1 school who, you know, sometimes don't get the numbers there, but he sees all these big guys in front of him. He's got to be licking his chops today thinking he might be able to get some key blocks to spring him. He has terrific speed. This blue squad doesn't want to be overshadowed, though. They also have a terrific defensive line, and we're going to be talking a lot about that white squad defensive line, but these guys are equal to the task.
Third down and short. Daly with the drop across the middle, has a man, and it's caught. Nicely done as he finds Corinne Robinson, who's headed to the University of Maine. And Daly, and speaking with him, Shawn, very impressed with his wide receiving core here.
Robinson, you start with him, and he's outstanding. Then you have Taylor, who's one of the real good ones. Julian Taylor out of Winslow, who Michael McBride knows a whole lot about. The talent there, these guys are big, they're strong. You added Nakamoju and Holtzapfel from Audubon, Nakamoju from Glassboro.
That snap, and Daly wisely pounces on it.
And that's kind of, that's something you're going to see during an all-star game is mistakes being made, especially in a shotgun formation. That's not something you're typically seeing in high school is guys get back in the shotgun, and sometimes that is something you need to work on during the week of practice that they have here during this all-star event.
Loss of 6 on the play, so second down. Daly played out of a spread offense at Eastern, liked to throw the ball, and again delighted with his receiving core here. Out of the shotgun, throws it up, tipped, caught. And Robinson will pick up a few yards, but it'll still be very long, a long third down for the White.
Charles Curcio from St. Joseph's and company on the play there, and just not going to give up a lot of yards, going to keep the receivers in front of him and making sure that they don't get behind him. Brings up a third and long, and they're just going to try and get the ball back here. Real important just to keep the guys in front of you and make the tackle. Very difficult to pick up a 3rd and 13, especially in an all-star game, because you don't have too many of those plays drawn up.
Daly again out of the shotgun with a lot of time. Throws it up, and a lot of contact, and caught. Still on his feet, finally driven out of bounds is Julian Talley. A big pickup, but again, Daly just kind of throwing it up and allowing Talley to use his athleticism. A lot of contact, but the referees let him play.
He used his athleticism and his left hand to grab onto the defender's shoulder pads. It probably could have been called for an offensive interference, but it's an all-star game. Let him play.
40-yard pickup. Daly to Talley. Talley, one of that fine receiving core that we mentioned before. Talley headed to the University of Massachusetts. Of course, they are the Division I AA national champions. Daly again, out of the shotgun, handed off, and not much there. That hole sealed quickly by the blue squad. Steve Sowler out of Pittman, the ball carrier.
Tackle was made by Ryan.
That's Steve Soller. He was a guy that we kind of knew pretty good because he was part of that standout feature that we had, a representative out of Pittman. Real good athlete, a terrific punter. Guy who doesn't have a whole lot of size, but plays extremely hard and plays with a little bit of confidence and cockiness, and you like that in a football player.
Second down and about 10. Daly directing traffic. And it's Akamoju coming on the right side. Play action. Daly across the middle. Underthrows Holtzapfel.
And he had him too. He had him open.
That's one of those things where you see it in an all-star game where Daly's throwing underneath, expecting his wide receiver to pull up where he finds the seam, and Holtzapfel kind of continuing to go. And again, that's something that really takes time to develop.
Well, not only that, Rob, and you see this also early in the football seasons, whether it's at college or high school, is to develop that timing. I mean, you look at a guy, you really don't know how fast he is. So to be able to lead somebody and to find out what their speed is, it's difficult sometimes to get that timing down.
Daly again out of the shotgun. Throws it into the corner, and again it's Tally, and it's going to be picked off. And we may have an interference call here. As Tally involved with, may have been Chisano.
We had Holtzapfel underneath, wide open. He would have been able to go for the first down, but it's going to loft it up here. Go for broke. They might call defensive pass interference. We're going to discuss it now.
This looks like it will go against the blue squad. Tally and Chisano locking up. What did he say, Shawn?
Pass interference.
First down and 10 for the Whites. So the drive will continue in I formation, the first we've seen of this set out of the White squad. And Daly will hand off again. Lancaster will string it out, still on his feet, and finally cut down. A submarine tackle made by Mike Maffey out of Seneca.
Yeah, that might have worked, that play where you're trying to go east to west and just try to outrun people with your athleticism. May work in the Colonial, but that's not going to work here at the Taliaferro Classic. These guys are short tacklers. They'll come up and make the play on you. I mean, look at the textbook tackle that time by Maffey from Seneca, right? And he's a guy who's going to come up, make the hit, make the play. Not a big flashy guy, but certainly can get the job done.
Second down, one running back, and it's Holtzapfel in the slot. Play action. Daly has Holtzapfel at the 7. He'll cut it back, and he'll find 3 blue tacklers. And may have a penalty flag.
And J.J. Chisano of Shawnee.
I think it's important to mention, Rob, that the heat, if anybody wasn't really sure or remember what this day was like, it was basically about 91 degrees, extreme humidity over the last couple of days, and the guys had to work out and practice. Mike isn't working as well as I think everyone anticipated it to. But you had the hot week of practice. The practices were sometimes cut a little bit short, weren't able to really work out in the pads. And that sometimes happens with these all-star events because you're doing it in the summertime, and you got to make sure that you're concerned with the safety of the kids. And McBride put it best as he said the parents dropped them off healthy. We want to make sure they leave healthy. Something that you want to keep an eye on, especially as this game goes on, is cramping. Did the kids drink enough water and hydrate themselves to prepare for the game? And sometimes we see that, especially in the beginning of the season in the fall, but you can certainly see it here tonight.
Play action Daly, inside screen, cutting it against the grain and finding all kinds of problems. That is talent.
So again, I mean, that may work, the movement and everything like that, cutting back and getting tricky in the high school game because you don't have the depth that you have here. These guys are all going to make those plays, and they're going to, it's hard to really shake that. Got to be able to go north and south, this east and west stuff here in an all-star game. Very tough to do because these guys have just as much speed and they can tackle extremely well. That time you see Jared Kidd of Holy Spirit on the play.
Third down for the White. Split right is Julian Talley. Two receivers split left. It's Akinmoju and Corinne Robinson. Daly's lone setback, Saller. Daly throws it across the middle, in and out of the hands as Maffey making contact as soon as the ball arrived.
He might even got a paw on that. You know, he might have been able to get one of them hands in there and disrupt that pass even before the tackle was made. And again, Maffey's a good one. It's going to be difficult to try and sneak one in there, even against these bigger receivers, because he's going to play tight coverage and he's got good speed.
Del Thomas will come out to attempt the field goal. Looks like it's going to be about a 38-yarder. Your holder is Tim Haggerty, the quarterback from Glassboro.
We'll see Haggerty later on as he's going to spell Daly at some point.
Get there, get there, get there, get there.
Snap, kick, and it is wide left.
Plenty of foot, plenty of distance on that. Just hold it a little bit.
We talked a little bit about timing before. That's another thing that will certainly be tough to get in sync with, the timing of the snap and the spot. And we'll step away. First quarter action, 17th annual All-Star Football Classic, the Adam Taliaferro Foundation, brought to you by the South Jersey Football Coaches Association. We're scoreless. Welcome back to the Adam Taliaferro All-Star Football Classic, 17th annual to be exact. Rob Christ along with Shawn Leary. Under 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. We're scoreless, the white and the blue squad. In terms of arranging the schools, Shawn, there's really no rhyme or reason there. It's just they tried to arrange it so that each team is relatively close in terms of abilities, school size, etc.
I think what they do is they take the Burlington and the Shore and put on the blue squad. I think Camden, Gloucester, and Salem counties are basically comprised of the white squad. Are you talking about how they pick them?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Rob. What they do is the general manager's a fumble here.
And Schenauer is dropped inside the 10-yard line, so a long way to go for a first down here for the blue.
Yeah, I just couldn't wait to tell you were wrong about something. I just, I haven't done it in a while. So what they do is the general managers get together and they pick the coaches who they want to coach the game, and then what they do is they take a look at all the nominations sent in and they kind of pick the team. And it basically you just build your all-star team. And it's also depending on what guys are going to be playing in some different things. I know the North-South game is being played tonight, so you got to see who's going to be playing in that. There's a lot that goes into it, and this week they do an outstanding job at this All-Star event.
Loss of 12 and the screen set up. Nicely done right up the middle, and that'll pick up a sizable chunk, make it a respectable fourth down at about 9. So a little breathing room out of their end zone for the punter.
I'll tell you what, Tom Murdoch never runs out of gas. We've seen him at West Effort play. And watch him, number 56 in the middle of the screen. Okay, he's blocking, he's coming up. He notices there's a screen. Now watch this play come downfield. And this is a defensive lineman that's going to track him down from behind and just keeps on going. This is a guy that just doesn't give up on a play. One of the reasons why West Effort Eagles are one of the best and elite teams in South Jersey. Guys like that, coached by Clyde Folsom.
Blue squad will punt it away, and calling for the fair catch at his own 48-yard line is the white squad's Kevin Simonecki out of Haddonfield, 1st and 10. Good field position here for the white team, still First quarter action, as Shawn mentioned, we do not have a clock, so I can't give you a time update.
Lightning, Lightning has no mercy.
No.
And especially on the scoreboard. That's,
of course, it's Thursday evening. You mentioned before how warm it's been this week. We are expecting a possible thunderstorm tonight. So.
It's coming. It's just a matter of what time. And I remember actually last year, the game had just finished up, and we had to run to our trucks in pouring rain and thunder and lightning going on around us. That same thing can happen here again tonight. I mean, they expect the showers, the thunderstorm to come in just about as this game is supposed to end. So we're crossing our fingers that it at least holds off.
Daly, quick drop, has a man, and hooks up with Akinmozier.
In fact, maybe the clock didn't really get struck by lightning. They might be thinking, if when that thunder and lightning, we remember last year when that thing does roll, which is, game's over. The time ran out. Let's get out of here. Because I remember last year we were all kind of ducking for cover.
That was Massaquoi actually on the reception, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter. A well-played first quarter. We are scoreless here at Rowan University in the 17th annual Adam Taliaferro All-Star Classic. Welcome back. Second quarter action here from Rowan University, and Tim Haggerty now in the game for the white team. Under center, they'll hand it off, and Lancaster is hit immediately. Big hit laid out by Matt Eisenstein.
The Atlantic City kid comes up, and he does a nice job here just filling this hole. Nowhere to go for Lancaster as he's pummeled by Eisenstein. And you know what, Rob? You look at this. You look at this package now that they're going to bring in. You expect to see a lot more running with Haggerty in the lineup. I mean, this is a guy who can also run that option and have some fun there.
And here is the option that you mentioned. They'll cut it back against the grain. We're going to have an holding penalty here. A nice individual effort by Haggerty. Daly mentioned that they essentially have two different packages, which makes things even more difficult for this white team because you have Daly, who's almost exclusively a thrower, to Haggerty, who likes to run the ball. Holding, White.
Now, also it's also difficult for the blue squad because you get into the flow of the game, and then all of a sudden this guy comes in, and where is he? Where is he? Oh, he's disappearing from you. You can't really see through all the big offensive line. You got 75, Dirk Randalls, who's an oak out there, and so you see just that big number 75, and all of a sudden you got a quarterback springing out of his back pocket, running by, and that makes it difficult for him. But you're right, it's difficult for both teams because also as offensive linemen, it's a whole new way of thinking as well.
Now, the rules of the game, the first and fourth quarter will have 12-minute quarters. The second and third quarter will have 15-minute quarters. Again, the pitch, this time to Lancaster, and he is ridden to the turf. A short pickup will bring up a long third down.
Looks like Charles Curcio was on that tackle as well. They're doing a nice job on Lamar Lancaster, and we've seen this kid materialize over the years into one of the very good backs in South Jersey. Coming out of Woodbury, great speed, and I think that the Blue Squad knew that this guy was going to be tough. Bill Fisher assembled his coaching staff, said, who are the guys that we need to key on? One of them had to be Lamar Lancaster, of obviously Robinson, the wide receiver, and Talley, the wide receiver for the White Squad, also a concern for them. The little concern is number 33 in that backfield because he's a guy that can break one.
So third down and a whole bunch here. Haggerty. And he makes the best of a bad situation. But once again, Eisenstein with the tackle. And head coach Bob Weiss of Atlantic City has been a coach there for a very long time. He said, he is the toughest kid I have ever coached in my tenure at Atlantic City, and that's certainly saying something.
We talked about Murdoch being charged up and going at 100% all the time. This is another guy. Eisenstein's the guy who's going to come. As soon as he puts on those pads, he's going to be starting to play football, and you have to be ready if you're going across from him. Otherwise, you're going to get busted up in the chops because this guy's going to come after you.
So the white team will punt it away. Once again, it will be Del Thomas to do the honors. And a pair of blue squatters back to receive it. A short hop, and Del Thomas coolly receives it.
He did.
Good catch made by the blue squads. Number 22, Charles Curcio out of St. Joe's. So still a defensive struggle here at Rowan University.
We would like to recognize Rowan University head coach Jay Accorsi. And on behalf of
They got Mike Quick in the house tonight. Came out and gave a little wave to the crowd. Jay Accorsi now. Doing a little bit of a shout out to him.
Of course, the guest of honor tonight is Adam Taliaferro, who has just made a remarkable recovery. If you're not familiar with his story, played at Penn State, and many people felt he would never walk again. Not only is he walking again, it's very difficult to tell that he was ever injured.
Yeah, true hero in the sense of the word. That this is a guy that had a terrible tragedy occur to him, and sometimes you can get really down on yourself. And we see that in our own lives sometimes. And the kid just never even thought to himself, listen, I'm not going to walk again. This is a guy that said, I'm going to walk again. There's nothing going to stop me. And if you read his book and what he talks about, I mean, it's just a very inspiring story.
The book written by Gloucester County Sam Carchidi and Scott Brown, who is now, they were sports writers for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Carchidi still a sports writer for the Inquirer, and Scott Brown now writing for a newspaper in Pittsburgh. Quick drop across the middle, and the slant pattern hooks up as Fortune able to come away with it, and a first down for the Blue Squad.
Good little slant there, and this is all timing here. I talked about the timing and getting it down. With a three-step and fire, and pick up a first down with that play. And that's well executed. Again, I can't talk about enough about that timing issue. And if you're able to get that down, especially in a week, you put together a pretty good week of practice. I know both coaching staffs were extremely happy and proud of the kids coming out. No problems. You get a bunch of guys getting together. A lot of adrenaline, a lot of testosterone in one particular area. You can have some problems at times. You can just imagine how those guys just kind of hanging out together can get a little crazy at times, but nothing to tell us. We were begging for a story, weren't we?
That's right.
There's nothing going on.
Well, one of the best names on either team with the carry on that last time, Laquan Jett picks up about 5, and Matt Jeffers is your new quarterback for the Blue Squad out of Burlington Township. He was the man that hooked up earlier with Fortune.
Well, I like who was blocking for him. I like this name, 75, and I always like also mentioning the lineman on Roselle Glaze. You gotta like Glaze.
Yeah, I used to play baseball against the guy. Lee Glaze was the center fielder for the Citadel.
He sounds like a center fielder.
Yeah.
Probably let off, didn't he?
He did lead off, and he was a tremendous baseball player, but that's the name of a center fielder.
Glazing
Lee
speed?
Glaze. That's right. So first down and 10 now for the Blue.
Approximately 9:45 to play in the second quarter. We have no score.
About 9:25 left. We mentioned before, no clock, as God intervened with lightning last night.
But the viewers at home, they don't know anything about the clock. It's just the people here at Rowan have no clue what time it is.
Jeffers throws it up. A little contact before the play. No flag.
Jeffers' pass is intended for Khalif.
PA announcer doing a nice job of telling everyone how much time's left. Again, we had some storms roll through the area last night. There was a lot of lightning causing some problems throughout the entire Delaware Valley. And they expect some to come at some point in time tonight. Again, crossing our fingers, we hope it will be a little bit later than the football game.
Second and 10. Jeffers hands off to Jett. Jett finds a seam, strings it out, and he's flung down by Pierre Robinson.
Robinson out of Collingswood. There's been some Collingswood guys who have had pretty good games in this event. Face mask on Robinson.
And Robinson did not like the call.
See, it looks like the play is going to break down for Jet. He's just going to try to bounce it to the outside. You can see right there, a little bit more than that. I don't know, that jersey. I think he may have gotten it right before he was able to pull him. They might have grabbed it, let go, and grabbed him up by where the chest protector is, excuse me, the shoulder pads.
Ball now at the 46-yard line. Second and about 5.
Handoff again, strung out. It's Jet, and he'll be knocked out of bounds.
Laquan Jet knocked out of bounds by Arvon Clark of Woodrow Wilson.
Real difficult to turn that corner in this game. You need offensive linemen that are able to get out there with that speed, and then try to pick up a block to the outside, or you just need somebody that can get to the outside, maybe off of a broken play, but very difficult in this game to break one to the outside. Just don't see that too much.
3rd down and 4. Had 5 penalties tonight. 4 from the white squad. I formation for Jeffers and the blue. Hand off to Jet. And he will be short of that 1st down. A lot of pressure from that vaunted white squad defensive line.
Colonial Conference really being shown here and showcased with Justin Malunas on that play. You got Hester and Murdoch already in the game playing up front. You have Malunas, who's a linebacker here. Good one. I mean, Gateway was a team under Mark Dio, had a decent season. Some real nice players on that squad. Maybe not the depth that you need to put together a championship team, but they had some really nice players that gained a lot of respect in that Colonial Conference.
Jet 5 carries, 9 yards. 4th down. Jeffers, quick drop, slant pattern, has a man. Nice hook up there as he finds Ricky Ritter out of Holy Cross.
Yeah, planted by Carmen Aliberti, but not before picking up the 1st down. And that. Watch this pass, man. This is just great time. Nice job, the 2-step. Aliberti takes him off his feet.
Ritter with the quick hitter. 17 yards. No relation to our director, Stan Ritter. You can tell because Ritter held on to the football.
Wow. Wow. So you and the referee have your final game here tonight.
1st down and 10.
Always nice to throw the executive producer underneath the bus when you're doing it. And maybe he wouldn't be listening, but he happens to be in the truck producing the game. So. Well, Ritter was a wrestler, so you know he
Stan
didn't have,
or Ricky?
Stan was a wrestler. So wrestlers. My apologies to Alex Sylvester because I know he has terrific hands and is a great athlete. Those guys usually don't have, even though they have good hands in wrestling, maybe not greatest with their hands. Their feet are threatening.
Are you trying to explain why Stan would not catch that football?
Yeah, maybe I'm just saying why
Speaking of throwing him under the bus.
Figure out while he's down, I might as well kick him.
I don't really think you're helping him there.
No. As I said, you're the one already in deep trouble. I might as well just give it a quick kick.
You're sticking up for me here, obviously. 2nd down. A little end around, the fake double reverse, and not much doing there. Khalif Wilson again trying to showcase that speed, but the white squad's Hakeem Talib said no.
Yeah, I mean, this is just an outstanding effort by Talib just to stay with it. You know, you can see both ends containing there. And see Talib coming in on the play, swallowing the ball carrier.
No gain, 3rd down. About 11.
3rd and 11. Ball on the 30-yard line.
split right for the blue for Chun. Two receivers split left for the blue squad. Ritter in the slot. Getting pressure, Jeffers is sacked. The white squad again with great pressure, and it's Marcus Valentine giving Jeffers a big old kiss.
Yeah, Valentine, one of the reasons why McBride was pretty happy about the couple of guys that he put here. And not much you could do here with this one is the rush by Valentine. He basically almost went untouched. Knifed through that offensive line, was able to get in, make the play, and now 4th down. It appears they're going to go for it.
Interesting strategy here, and that's why it's an all-star game. You let it all hang out.
Throw it up, you might get a pass interference. Somebody comes down with it.
So Jeffers under center. In motion. It's Wilson. And a little razzle-dazzle. Wilson throws it up, has a man, and in and out of his hands. Ricky Ritter unable to come away with it. Big hit laid out. It looked like it may have been.
And speaking of the standout, Harmon Aliberti coming over, laying the lick on the receiver to jar that ball loose, because he did beat the corner. And Aliberti, watch him come over here, and this is just a safety doing exactly what he's supposed to do, being the safety. When somebody gets beat, they're going to come over and dislodge the ball. See, there was probably a pass interference that wasn't called. He's able to get his hands down. Looks like he's going to be able to pull it in. And Aliberti just comes and lays a hit. Dislodges the ball.
Daly comes into quarterback. A bit of a surprise as Haggerty had one series. 4 minutes remaining in this first half. We are scoreless. And the handoff. Good second effort, but just not much room to operate for Hakeem Cartwright out of Lindenwold.
Again, we talked about the defensive line for the white squad, but the blue squad's defensive line doesn't want to go unmentioned. There's some guys in there that are just standing up that offensive line and not allowing any type of ground game going up that middle. I mean, it's a nice job by both squads in forcing the 2nd and 3rd and long situation.
Second down. And Daly's still your quarterback. 3 receivers. And it's Akamoju at the bottom of your screen. Little bubble screen. That's going to be a lateral. And then again, a double pass wide open. Cutting it against the green. A lot of open room. Angling towards the end zone and finally brought down a one-handed tackle to stop Julian Talley. Again, people throwing out the razzle-dazzle Daly, the lateral, and then the pass. Nicely done as Robinson finds Talley.
Yeah, 2 guys they expected to make big plays, maybe not in that way. But Robinson throwing a nice ball, maybe a little bit behind the receiver, but gives Talley the open space, and just one man could beat him there.
Inside the 10-yard line, 1st and goal. I formation for the white, and they are driving. Akamoju split right, I formation for the blue. Daly will hand it off right up the gut. Not a whole lot of room to operate there as the white squad's Steve Sala.
Herbert Woodard, tackled by Matt Hoffman and Steve Haig of Una.
You see some of the big offensive linemen in this game. These guys are huge. Down on the field, standing next to some of these. Dirk Randall's number 75 of Gloucester Catholic is a monster. And you see some of the guys next to him. And you know, these backs, again, salivating at the chance to run behind an offensive line, both sides, like the one we're seeing here.
Second down and goal. Daly hands off again. Maintaining his balance, but not much there. They're saying Herbert Woodard is the ball carrier in the program listed at number 87, so they may have had a uniform change that we were not made aware of.
Yeah, that's Herbert Woodard. He's out of Salem High School.
Forward progress being marked at the 4-yard line, so it is 3rd and goal from the 4.
So at the 4-yard line, it's 3rd and goal.
Salem, what a program down there. They continue to produce terrific athletes. I know last few years we've had some really good ones from down in Salem County, especially out of that Salem area.
Daly didn't like what he saw. He called timeout. We'll step away. We are approaching halftime. White squad driving. We're scoreless in the 17th annual All-Star Football Classic. Welcome back. 3rd down. And it's Daly out of the timeout at the 4. Daly, quick drop. Eyes up his receiver. Contact made. And no penalty flag there. May have gotten away with one.
Pass was intended for Uriah Akamuto.
Contact made before the ball was to the receiver, and Del Thomas will come on to attempt his 2nd field goal attempt for the White.
This is a chippy. Little chip shot. Shouldn't be a problem for Del to deposit this between the uprights for 3 points.
This will be a 21-yard field goal attempt.
Thomas had missed from 38 yards earlier. This is a 21-yard attempt for the Clearview grad. Snap is up, and the kick is good. It is the White squad
1:13 remaining.
taking the first lead of the evening just inside the half. White 3, Blue nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I ask for your attention to the scoreboard end of the stadium in the end zone area.
They do a nice job with this event.
Ladies and gentlemen, would
Pretty
you
much
please
after each timeout,
rise to your feet
they
and give a special
honor
welcome
somebody who's
to
either
Woodrow Wilson
at the game.
Shaquem Lawrence.
Shaquem Lawrence getting a rousing hand here. He was involved in a tragic accident on the football field at Eastern High School, ironically enough, where Adam Taliaferro played his high school football. And he is now paralyzed as a result of the accident. Taliaferro has spent a lot of time at his bedside urging him on. And there you see some of this large crowd on hand to give him a nice round of applause. And this is what this foundation is really all about, to help players like Lawrence. Earlier, J.J. Reynolds out of Washington High School from Philadelphia, also here to be a recipient of some of the proceeds from the Taliaferro Foundation.
Right now, I think it's Avron Clark is going down. I believe that's also Coron Robinson, who's going down to take a picture with the young man. Yeah, I truly believe. I mean, this is one of the best events in South Jersey. I'm talking about not just sports. I mean, just in any event. I mean, they do this right.
Yeah.
With every single thing that they do, starting with how they bring the kids in, how they take care of the Hall of Fame banquet. They have some entertainment beforehand. They do everything with class, and what they do throughout the year with giving recipients, honoring those students throughout South Jersey for their achievement, not only on the athletic field but also in the classroom. They've really made the Adam Taliaferro Foundation one of the great organizations throughout South Jersey.
Thomas's kick taken at the 10-yard line and returned to about the 27-yard line. It's Khalif Wilson from Pleasantville.
If he would have broke that tackle, he would have been gone, because this guy has amazing speed, and it doesn't take him much. One of the guys I talked about getting to the outside, if he's able to get to the outside, he can take it the distance because of that great speed. But there isn't too many guys that you see here that really separate themselves as far as great speed is concerned. We've seen a couple of years ago, Doreen Bryant, who will be a senior at Purdue this year, was in this game, and you could say this is a man playing with a bunch of boys that night. And Khalif Wilson is another guy who can separate himself with his speed. Maybe not quite the talent that Bryant is or was at that time, but certainly could materialize into that type of play.
Out of the shotgun, Jeffers. He will try to engineer a drive here late in the first half and get the blue squad on the scoreboard. Jeffers throws it deep, and there's no one there but white shirts. Ahmad Covington from Highland got a fingertip on it.
Some of the locals having a nice game. We keep hearing Aliberti being mentioned at safety. Aliberti, pretty good athlete that we're able to see a lot of things that he's able to do because we had him on that standout doing some different events. But this kid is a football player first. Loves the game, lives for it. Going to be playing at LaSalle, coached under Dan Pidcock, who had just such an amazing season with the Pioneers this year.
Jeffers, he misses his receiver, Betley, out of Lenape. Jeffers 2 for 5 now for 31 yards.
Pass is incomplete, third down.
Pioneers ran through that Tri-County Conference Rural Division.
Hey, yo, you ain't hear me knocking on the window?
Went on to lose to Triton, who just out-muscled basically the Pioneers in the game that we had.
Yeah, we covered that game on Channel 5, and pretty surprised at the outcome. Clearview had themselves, as you mentioned, a fine season under head coach Dan Pidcock, and one of those days where things went right for Triton, and Triton certainly deserved the victory. They went on and, of course, enjoyed a fine season. Jeffers across the middle, hooking up, and a fine pass and an even better reception by Ricky Ritter. A deep slant pattern, and Ritter calls timeout.
What they're doing is basically throwing to the inside. You can see the white squad's going to have to take away that inside route because that's where they're getting beat. And Aliberti's not able to get there in time, but they're doing a nice job of getting a little bit of separation from the wide receivers and the cornerbacks for the blue squad, something that the white squad may have to make adjustments in the second half, and something that probably the blue squad will maybe want to try and take advantage of.
Of course, the blue squad trying to engineer a drive to end this first half, and things much more complicated when you do not have a scoreboard, so Jeffers is going to have to really be on top of his game and communicating with the referee and, of course, the coaching staff of the Blue. Head coach Bill Fisher from Seneca will obviously need to be on top of that as well. So things get very complicated given the lack of a scoreboard here.
Yeah, we've had some really fine football players. I remember George Johnson was here last year, kid from Glassboro that's now at Rutgers, who played some significant minutes for the Scarlet Knights this season.
He was a freshman All-America by some publications.
Yeah, I mean, and we expected George to have a nice year, but I don't think everyone expected him to do what he was able to do this season for the Knights, and they gave him some opportunities to make an impact. Alex Silvestro out of Paulsboro will be joining him. What a great combination that will be to see those two guys playing.
And expect Cordell Young to get a lot of time again this year. Jeffers flushed out of the pocket, and he is hit at the 50-yard line. A timeout will be called. Prior to the snap, there was 49 seconds remaining, so things ticking down.
Jeffers might have got hurt on a play.
That was very.
Don't forget also Ryan D'Imperio, who's expected to get some minutes there at linebacker this season.
Right, he did suffer quite an injury, and that's one of the problems, of course. D'Imperio was penciled in as a starter.
But that's it. You look at the Rutgers Scarlet Knights this year and what they're able to accomplish and the name they made for themselves, and now the infusion of Gloucester County players going up there to play. It certainly makes next season and the next few years pretty interesting from a Gloucester County perspective in Rutgers, where I think a lot of people are going to start getting behind Rutgers and get even more excited when you have some local, some homegrowns going up there to play.
Well, as you know, I've been a big Rutgers booster for a long time, and I've really tried to stress upon the local talent to consider Rutgers, and conversely have the Rutgers coaching staff come down here and recruit the fine talent. I think finally each has discovered one another, and it's been a happy marriage. Rutgers ranked as high as 10 already in some preseason publications.
Well, we had Coach Shiano come down to the Gloucester County Times to meet with us to see how we can start covering Rutgers. And this was about 5 years ago when he first started at Rutgers. And the guy, you could tell he was all business and really went about it the right way. He wanted to get Rutgers some publicity, so people, if we're writing about him, the kids see him in the paper, and they start winning some games. He brought the guys from South Florida to make a name, maybe get a couple of wins, get everything interested, get some people interested in the program, and really worked hard at recruiting. There's some terrific athletes that come out of New Jersey. You look at guys who are throughout the country, who are some of the big names from New Jersey. If you're able to get them to stay home, and they're doing that now, Rutgers can be a power for not only these couple of years. I think they're here to stay and will only get better.
That looked like it was going to be a hook and lateral, and it kind of fell apart. They rolled it an incomplete pass, so third down. Of course, Rutgers getting back to them. They did sign Anthony Davis out of the Piscataway area, widely considered the #1 lineman in the country. He will likely start this year. And already one of the problems that Greg Schiano's having, because Rutgers received such notoriety, particularly with the win over Louisville, which many consider the game of the year, he's getting a lot of national interest now. He was hoping to just kind of focus on his New Jersey area, but he's getting so much national interest. Players that typically would go to the big powers like USC and Texas and the Big Ten schools are now taking an interest in Rutgers, so it's a good problem to have for Schiano and the Knights. Jeffers out of the shotgun will throw it deep down the middle, and it's going to be a jump ball. This will fall incomplete as he tries to find Bentley from Lenape.
You just hope, and I think they really understand that they want to keep this New Jersey, the influx of the New Jersey talent home, and they kind of want to make Rutgers like almost a state college, where it's you get the pride throughout New Jersey, not only in the north end of it, but Shiano was really adamant in the fact that he wanted South Jersey to feel like Rutgers is the home school, and I think he's starting to succeed in doing that. I know there's some guys that are still loyal to Penn State and some Temple grads, but I think Rutgers made a big name and is going to continue to do it.
Right. If you look in the stands already, you'll see some Rutgers Scarlet Knight hats, and that's something just 2 years ago you would have never seen before. So that's indicative of the success that Rutgers has had here locally. Jeffers again out of the shotgun will throw it deep, and it's picked off. Clark still on his feet. Big return here, but probably would have been wise just to let it drop. That would have resulted in better field position. But it's in the end of the first half, and it's been a well-played first half. The first true turnover there, and again, that was just kind of a jump ball. We will head to the locker room. It is the white squad on top of the blue squad, 3-0 in the 17th annual Adam Taliaferro Foundation All-Star Football Classic from Rowan University. Welcome back to Rowan University. Rob Christ along with Shawn Leary. Second half about to get underway here in the 17th annual Adam Taliaferro Foundation All-Star Football Classic. The blue squad trailing 3-0, and they will kick things off literally to start this second half. And on the return for the white team, nicely done by Lamar Lancaster. Right on cue as at the break, we're talking a little bit about Zach Valentine as coach. We'll talk a little bit about him in a moment, but first, stats.
Oh, yeah, you're taking a look at the rushing yardage. Well, you did. I mean, they're coming back for us. But not a whole lot of rushing. A couple of big plays in the first half. Set up the Del Thomas field goal. But you see a blue squad with the 1 yard rushing. We talked about both defensive lines. That's a product of it. 18 total yards between the both teams. Penalties going against that white, 4 for 32. Didn't really hurt them too. They gave up minimum yardage.
Ron Ingram, 1 carry for 2 yards.
Here's LL.
Lancaster. 1 carry for minus 10 yards.
On the way up, I got a chance to, I wouldn't say talk or have a conversation, because that's not what you really do with Coach Valentine. really is he just has some fun with you, and you just laugh a little bit. Really, there's not a whole lot of talking over there. Not only a terrific coach, one of the funniest guys, one of the most fun guys who really just doesn't take everything so seriously, and I think that's one of the reasons why he gains so much respect from his kids. Is he's just a guy that likes to have a lot of fun and pokes a lot of fun at the media, and we love it.
Very imposing physically, of course. Won a Super Bowl ring with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lancaster again on the carry, and he'll be slung down and knocked out of bounds after a brief game.
In fact, AC Lancaster over there mixing up with some of the Blue Squad players. Even an all-star game, a lot of pride going through this. I think one of the best moments that I've ever had personally doing some different television work was the time we had John Mondelli's high school football report, and I got a chance to wear the official Pittsburgh Steelers Zach Valentine jersey on there. It was kind of neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, kind of cool.
As a Steelers fan, that would be a thrill for me.
Right after the show, I laid out John Mondelli, tackled him to the ground. I just said, with the jersey on, you had to lay a hit. Felt like you had to lay a hit.
Daly out of the shotgun and finds his man, but it falls incomplete.
That Mondelli's slippery though. He wouldn't let me do that.
Tally the intended receiver, so third down now. You haven't seen much of Haggerty out of Glassboro. Hopefully there's not an injury issue there.
Yeah, well, you know what? He did limp on. I saw that, and I didn't want to make anything big out of it because I want to see what was going to happen. But I did see him limp out for a hold of the Del Thomas field goal, kind of walking out there with a little bit of a limp.
So give Daly an opportunity to showcase his skills. Of course, he's having a tough time as the center's snaps have been a little tough to handle. When you're snapping the ball over Daly's head, you got problems because Daly is actually a student of mine, Shawn. I guess I should mention that, but he's literally about 6'3", and he's bigger than probably most of the linemen that are on either team.
Yeah, it's a big kid. I mean, you know him better than I. Seems like a pretty intelligent kid to play that position. Really knows the game of football and knows where to go with the football. Doesn't make too many mistakes. He's definitely an imposing figure at that quarterback position.
He's got a great sense of humor, does Andrew, and headed to play football at Towson University. Quite a few players here.
Great hang time on that punt. That was a beautiful punt.
And this will be returned. Looking for a seam again, showcasing Steve Fortune. And
great job by Woodard of Salem. If he doesn't stop him there, that possibly could have turned into a big gainer.
First down and 10 for the Blue. 3-0, and I don't know how many years we've been covering this game, but this is certainly the lowest scoring one we've had. Typically a lot of offense, but defense has ruled the day.
Some of the fans having a good time. Look, there you go.
Good looking crowd on
The
there.
white receiving for Julian Talley has 153 yards receiving.
Moving and grooving. Having fun.
Excuse me, that is incorrect.
Girls having a blast.
Why not?
Everybody's just going to dance, kiss people, just have a blast.
That should be 89 yards for Julian Talley.
First and 10, and it's Schenauer who will hand off to his high school teammate Hevelo.
And not much room up front. You see the defensive line, some penetration there. And trying to bust it to the outside, but the linebackers are cleaning up on the play. And again, it just starts up front with that defensive line. Here you see some of the Blue Squad talking. Some of the defenders over there making sure that they're on the same page here in the second half in a tight ball game, 3-0. Believe me, it's an all-star game. These guys take great pride in winning this. Now, basically, again, Burlington and the Shore versus Camden, Gloucester, and Salem counties.
Across the middle, finding his tight end, Mike Roeder, is Schenauer. Roeder out of Cherokee. And that will be more than enough for the first down into white territory at their 44.
Plenty of room in the inside of this defense. There you see the 5 up front defenders. And a whole lot of room in the middle of that defense, and they're picking their spots and being able to hook up.
You saw Hevelo ranging left, and the rush really had to respect that. As a result, really allowing a lot of time for Schenauer. Again, Hevelo the handoff. This time some room to operate. And a block there in the back. No penalty called. And Hevelo, his largest gain of the day.
Let's go!
You're going to see Khalif Wilson come back, and this is a no call. Let's see, it could have been a block in the back coming up in your screen right about there. You're not able to see it. Nonetheless, able to get to the outside, pick up about 8 yards.
Hevelo now with 6 carries for 22 yards on the evening. As we mentioned, he wanted 25. Well, he's a quarter of the way there. I formation for Schenauer and the blue. He'll hand off inside, and a lot of room to operate for A.J. Harris. Harris played his football at Ocean City High School. He's headed to Elon on a scholarship.
See, starting to make some room now in the teeth of that defense, and some adjustments being made by the blue squad at halftime to just try and move some of those guys around. Again, it's hard to move Hester and Murdoch and some of the big fellas up front.
7-yard gain, and they'll go right back to Harris. Harris stutter step, looking, driving, and pick up about 3.
This is where you see who's been keeping in shape and who's really been getting after it in the weight room and running and just getting conditioned here in the second half. You haven't had a lot of football. Some of these kids may have played some other sports. Some of them may have just been working out and not really getting that cardio going that they need to. They probably say, I'll wait till summer. I'm going to really start getting after it and maybe work on that at that time. So we'll see now.
And that's really, of course, a bigger issue tonight because of the heat and humidity. Harris out of the I formation, the trail back, and they'll go to the first back, and just nothing doing there for big Teron Ingram out of Burlington City.
Yeah, Meat that time is trying to strip the ball, not just going for the tackle. So Hester is trying to get a turnover, turn the ball back over to the white squad. Blue moving.
3rd and about 5, ball is at the 24-yard line.
Program says 45 is Ingram, but it's Aristio out of Cinnaminson who is the ball carrier. Apparently, again, a uniform switch. And this time the handoff, off tackle, a lot of room strung out and nicely done for the white squad. A big first down for the Jet out of Pemberton.
Yeah, they're not going to call a whole lot of flags and infractions here, but Demetrius Hester was almost taken down by his neck. You see here, watch him here. Pulled down. Hester looking for a flag, but he's not going to get it. Some good blocks downfield to bring him to the corner. Said you're not able to get to the outside, but Jet done it on a couple of plays.
17 yards on 7 carries. 1st and 10. The blue team driving here into 3rd. And it's going to be Jet who will string it out and cut down by Alberti.
Alberti looks like a guy who's been keeping in shape and really working out because he's flying all over the field tonight. Look at this. I mean, he's just going to come into your screen. Take down the defender.
And on that play, a holding penalty. We'll see whether or not they take the penalty. It looks like they will.
Probably push him back and maybe try to get him out of that field goal range with only the 3-point lead. Probably going to think about trying to keep him from tying up the game or even giving it a shot if they're able to hold him.
Take a look at this tackle where the Jet was grounded.
Alberti coming through, going right for the feet. Again, Murdoch, he just shows up in your picture. I mean, guys all over the field. Murdoch and Alberti, 2 guys that if you're a coach, you just love the way they play.
1st and 10.
There's movement
and
there.
A whole lot of problems there as Hester Breaks through the line. We'll see what.
I think this is Ivanici from Cherokee, one of the Chiefs. We'll try to get an early start. And again, Aliberti and Murdoch, the way they play going after it sometimes also can be a problem because they might over pursue a play. You can maybe use that in a game like this where you can catch somebody off guard against them. Use that aggression against them. We've seen a couple plays that might have worked for the Blue squad. We saw a screen earlier that did them some good. We saw the big play on the other side where it was the wide receiver screen pass to Talley from Robinson that set up the field goal.
Again, it's Jet, and a little problem in terms of controlling traffic as Schenauer and Jet collided.
And double fives. Demetrius Hester.
He could probably fit a third 5 on that uniform.
That was Rob Christ who said that. And he's a jokester. He likes to have fun, joke around. He's all business on the football field, but he kept the light for Paulsboro.
Second and 27 for Schenauer and the Blue. Drive has stalled after the holding penalty, and now a fumble. Schenauer picks it up, and he's got some room to operate down the sideline. Knocked out of bounds. We've seen the athleticism of Schenauer, and that's why expect to see him make that Delaware squad just on a sheer athleticism alone.
So you can see everything breaks down, and sometimes, again, over pursuing the play, you see some of the white squad getting too deep in the backfield, and they're just trying to go after the play, but Schenauer does a nice job using that speed, maybe deceptively, because he doesn't look like a guy who's got terrific burners, but he can get to the outside and move extremely well.
That's a big play because now the Blue is in field goal position and they can tie this football game. Of course, it is third down and about 13.
Don't be surprised again if they look over the middle of the field. That's worked for him. Might try to get the tight end over the middle.
A fumble, and it's the white team on it. I don't know if there was a penalty flag before the snap. We'll see what happens here. No. A big turnover by the white. So
look who's on it. Murdoch. I just love the way this guy plays. He's absolutely one of the top defensive linemen in South Jersey and one of the most aggressive football players in South Jersey.
You saw Hester giving him a big pat on the head, and that's something that's fun to see. You know, two arch rivals now able to play together.
And you know they bumped face masks a couple times over the years and probably had some real nice things to say about each other.
But I guarantee you they really had the utmost respect for one another.
Absolutely.
Those two guys were fighters.
When you get these two guys, they're used to popping people and you know, maybe inflicting a little bit of uncomfortable feelings to the other guys. And then when you have another guy that you hit and he doesn't move anywhere or he comes back at you, that's obviously you're going to gain respect for that guy. And I'm sure Hester and Murdoch both, again, mutual respect of, you know, this guy, I hit him every time, he doesn't move. You know, he keeps coming back. And it's got to be fun to play with a guy like that, you know, and that you obviously probably didn't enjoy going up against during your 4-year career, and then you get to play with one another, and a lot of the times you gain a nice friendship there.
Daly, your quarterback again for the white. Daly throws, and that's overthrown. Trying to find Kai Massaquoi.
I know in just the standout thing that we did, that local reality show, the two guys that became pretty good friends was Carmen Aliberti and Tom Graff. Now, they were in separate teams during the competition, and Clearview Kingsway, a good rivalry there. But those two guys, you know, became friends and again, competing against one another. They probably didn't really care for one another too much, and then they got to really know each other. Now them guys, you know, they're both friends. And it's kind of neat to see those friendships develop in events like that, and of course this one.
Daly 7 for 11 on the evening, 68 yards. It'll bring up a third down for the Eastern High graduate. Handoff tackle. A lot of room down the sideline. Out cuts it back inside. Still on his feet. Woodard to the 20, angling and again cuts back, and he's met
by Bill Burke. Looked like Andy Young, like Bill Burke was on his team, but it helped out on that tackle. Burke with there's a lot of 76 running downfield, but you got to like the hustle of the big guy. Well, watch Woodard here turn the corner. We talked about there's not too many guys that can make an impact with the speed. Woodard's a guy, again, out of Salem. I talked about this, the Salem guys earlier, that these guys are just outstanding athletes, great speed. And right here you're going to see Burke, who had some help from the opposition, Mark Miller of Seneca, making the play downfield. But you got to be impressed with the offensive lineman getting down, trying to still make a block downfield.
Miller, a nice play. He was the Burlington County Football Player of the Year in 2006, headed to Widener. Look at the balance. Tremendous individual effort by Lancaster.
Lancaster really matured as a running back. We saw him with good speed, but he really developed some power in his senior season. Sure, Valentine is going to miss Lancaster being there and being that home run threat. I know they still got a couple of pretty athletic kids coming up.
Daly will hand off again to Lancaster, and there's going to be a penalty flag here.
It's the one thing when you see from Salem, Woodbury, those type of schools, although they're small, they're rich in football tradition, and you're always going to see a playmaker come out of those schools. Guys like Woodard, or William Barnes, Lamont Robinson out of Salem, Lamar Lancaster. You look at Jimmer Bundy, played years ago.
Trying to remember the running back that went on to Wisconsin.
Chris Presley.
Chris Presley.
Marvin McKinney, of course, the big fella, but also the little guy, Marvin McKinney, who was the cornerback there. Was he was the toughest hitter that I've ever seen play. And he was all but about 170 pounds. I believe he played in this game and was knocking some people around in this All-Star game.
Daly has a man underneath, tipped up, and that falls incomplete. You could see prior to that, our cameraman picking up Bryant Gates on the sideline out of Oakcrest, and you could see just what a tough time he was having catching his breath. It is extraordinarily humid this evening, and you have to imagine, given the high level of play, the intensity, the adrenaline, coupled with wearing a helmet, pads, and a uniform, things very difficult. It's time to go back to retro pickle juice. Remember, the Eagles were big on that pickle juice about 4 or 5 years ago.
I would have taken anything an hour ago. Pickle juice. Pickle juice would have been just fine.
Daly, again, the inside screen and cut through the middle. And this will give Del Thomas an opportunity to tee it up from the middle. It'll be about a 40-yard field goal. We're inside of about 2 minutes now in this third quarter. Here you see Daly. He's had the bulk of the duties for the White.
This is something that Robinson will learn that he can't do in college. And this is, try to continue to run east and west. Now, I know that's a bubble screen where you try to get everybody over to the one side of the field. You set up some blockers for the wide receiver and have them just come underneath, but it's difficult to do that on the play. You would just want to cut up field.
Well, cramps will be a problem all night. There's the first of them. We'll step away. 17th annual Adam Taliaferro All-Star Football Classic. It's a good one with the White on top, 3-0. I'm not sure if it's officially a full moon, but it certainly looks like one. White squad on top, 3-0 here as we start the fourth quarter. 17th annual Adam Taliaferro All-Star Football Classic. Rob Christ with my partner in crime, Shawn Leary.
Looks pretty full to me.
Well, it looks that way to me, but there's the full moon and then there's the official full moon where there's absolutely every last speck of cheese that is present.
Okay, Bolaris, I didn't know you were such an astrologer.
What did you call me?
Astrologer, I don't even know if that's meteorologist. Remember John Bolaris? Wasn't he he's a big weather guy on Channel 10.
Thomas will kick it away from 40 yards. The kick is long enough, and the kick is no good as he misses right. So Thomas 1 for 3 on the evening. It's been a defensive battle, and we start the fourth quarter here. That was Corinne Robinson who was taken off the field. Robinson really with one of the bigger plays of the night, not receiving, but 1 for 1 through the air on a lateral pass from Daly and hooking up for 53-yard connection. It is the white team on top, 3-0. You see some of the great crowd on hand, and it seems, Shawn, year after year the crowd gets bigger and better.
Yeah, well, it's a great event. I mean, I can't urge you enough. If you love football, that you would want to come out to this game, because just the event itself is outstanding. So if you always thought, like, jonesing for football in June or July, if you're just finding out about this game, you want to mark your calendar for next year. It's a fun event. There's a lot of talent. Now, the score doesn't indicate the talent that's out there now. The defense seems like it has the upper hands on both squads. But typically, this is a pretty high-scoring game.
Well, and again, I think that despite the fact that it's generally been a high-scoring game, Shawn, I think without a lot of preparation, it tends to favor the defense. So not necessarily a surprise here that it's 3-0, but a well-played game as we're at the start of the fourth quarter, and Schenauer continues to pound it to Hevelo.
Well, coming in, you looked at the white squad and where the I want to call them the A players, where the top tier guys, the guys that you said were some of the best in the South Jersey area this year, was stacked on that defensive line. So you knew that the blue squad was going to have some trouble handling that size and that talent up front. And they have for most of the game, really for all the games. They've had a couple of plays here and there, but nothing big.
Schenauer again getting pressure from the defense, throws it down the middle, does a nice job to find a receiver, but that is going to be shy of the first down, and it'll force the blue team to punt it away. Back to receive for the white team, it'll be Kevin Simonicki and Arvon Clark.
Blue squad in punt formation.
Nice
High
punt.
and Simonicki will call for the fair catch. He'll take it at the 40-yard
Fair catch
line,
taken
where the white
by Kevin Simonicki.
will look to move the football and add to their
Will be spotted
3-0
at
lead.
the 40-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the white.
Well, it's almost the 4th of July. Another fine scholastic season we covered, Shawn. And right around the corner, we'll have football again for you. It's always fun when football season comes around.
Yeah.
Always a few surprises along the way. And we're fortunate because we've seen a lot of great athletes over the years here in South Jersey. Of course, tonight is the NBA draft, and Russell Carter, local product, who's carried a number of times here locally. Notre Dame, likely to be drafted probably in the second round. Had a fine career in the Big East at Notre Dame.
We got a hold of Russell Carter on Tuesday night, and we prepared something for the paper today at the Gloucester County Times. You got to be excited for the young man. I mean, he worked extremely hard, and he didn't come in. And what I was really impressed with was, he was a big-time scorer here. And I know a lot of kids are big-time scorers. They go on to college. And he really worked on his defensive game. And it wasn't until his senior year that he really exploded onto the scene with the offensive weapon that he could have been and was at Paulsboro. But really developed a nice defensive game with all those shooters they've had at Notre Dame. They didn't really need him to score in his first 3 years, and he really became a complete player. And I think that that may have given him the opportunity to get drafted into the NBA.
Daly did a great job there to get rid of the football as the rush of the blue squad on top of him in a hurry. But a positive gain, and the white squad continuing to move the football. Third down. This could be 4-down territory for the white. Out of the eye. The handoff, and should be enough for the first.
It looks like he got it.
Woodard with 5 carries for 73 yards, your top rusher. It was Lancaster on the carry there.
You know, sad to report that this year we didn't have the Clay Awards. We've had the Clay Awards for a number of years. I think it was 6 or 7 years straight. And unfortunately, just with time and from family and stuff like that, I just wasn't able to continue it. I feel bad for the athletes. I know that some of them really like the fact of getting honored at the end of the year, but we haven't come out in the paper and actually told anybody about it. I'm sure there's been a couple of people. We've been asked by a couple of coaches, are you going to have them this year? We just weren't able to continue with it.
My wife was particularly upset because she keeps bugging me for that paycheck, and she thinks I'm hiding it from her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did a nice job with me doing that for a couple of years. John Mondelli helped out throughout his 6 or 7 years.
I tell
appreciate all his help.
I don't think people really understand how much work you put into that. I mean, it's an extraordinary effort on your part. It's just so time-consuming.
Yeah, it just really consumed my entire life. And now I have 2 kids that, starting to play some sports and stuff like that. It's just, unfortunately, I had to give something up, and my wife said I couldn't give up my kids, so I had to give up the Clays. Nice job. Yeah, good.
Daly hooking up with Tally, and Daly tallying more yards here.
And good footwork. Watch his feet here. He's going to stay in right there. Right there is able to just touch that line, and good call as he's out there.
Great camera work by our crew.
It's 35.
Just inside the 35, first down and 10 for the white. I formation again as they are moving the football. They lead 3-0. And Tally with 4 receptions now over the century mark, 105 yards. Of course, the big hookup was Tally from Robinson.
Second and about 14.
You see here, it's a slow developing play. They're trying to get that draw and fake the pass there and try to scoot Lamar Lancaster and have him busted to the outside.
Great pursuit by Matt Hoffman out of Burlington Township. Second down now, and Daly out of the shotgun. Again with time, he'll throw it up deep. And it's a jump ball tipped up, and it's picked off. First turnover here for the white and the blue with a big return. They will bring it out to the 36-yard line, and a glimmer of hope for Corey Brown out of Vineland and the blue squad.
And looking for Akamoju. It's a big kid, good leaping ability. Underthrow him just a little bit. Ball bounces down. Now watch a stick here by Matt Brown of Shawn. Watch Steve Eisenstein. Boom! Matt Brown says, all right, you got the turnover, but I'm making somebody pay.
2, 4.
Again, we are in the fourth quarter. 37-yard return on that interception. The blue squad trying to get on the scoreboard. Strung out here. Harris cut down after a gain of 4
on the carry. Tackled by
there you see Brown
of Highland.
And they give him the old
Gain of about 5.
Inside of 7 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter.
Gave him the horns, right? That's the double horns behind the head when you get the Devil's Head, is it Devil Horns?
The Devil Horns.
Yeah, that's always been a favorite of everybody on TV.
Of course.
You give the Devil Horns to
Start that in
somebody.
elementary school and never gets old.
I've done that with you a couple times during opens and staying there to re-cue. Just he never found humor in it. I loved it. Oh, AJ!
I think it's funny now.
Yeah.
All right, A.J. Harris with the big carry, and now you can sense the swinging momentum here as the Blue Squad really gaining
Good
confidence from Brown, and now Harris using that big frame we mentioned before, that Harris on his way to Elon on scholarship.
And right, I mean, he's got decent speed, but he's got great footwork, and he's big, and he's going to lunge forward for extra yards. And I love that out of a running back, is when they're able to move forward and pick up 2 or 3 extra yards. I remember one of the best guys I've ever seen was Kenny Bartee out of Shalleck, who always got those 2 or 3 extra yards, even when he had 2 or 3 guys on him. And that's so key in picking up first down.
Play action, and oh, that play was set up so well. I like the call there, the play action to Harris, who had been so successful, and a lot of people bit on the play. Just a little dump pass across the middle falls incomplete as they tried to find Vic Aristeo out of Cinnaminson.
Yeah, they're practicing earlier with him, and you can see that his hands isn't one of his strong suits. Everyone's got weaknesses and strengths. I don't think catching the football is really his strength.
Maybe he was a wrestler.
Maybe I probably shouldn't go to any wrestling matches in the next couple of years.
Jeffers on the draw and just nothing doing there. It looked like a white sandwich. Jeffers 4 for 9 on the evening with 1 interception.
Just as you're getting a little bit of momentum, you try to go on the ground through the middle of that defense, and there's nothing there for you.
Third and 13 here for the Blue. Now they've gone for it on long and 4th. We'll see whether or not that's the case again. Jet just 14 yards on 10 carries. He's in the backfield. And a nice little screen inside. But again, well defended. Just inside of midfield will bring up a long 4th down.
Tom Murdoch again in the mix. And I know he's not watching, and I know it'll probably not even get to him, but just in case it does, Tony Sidoti, the Gloucester Catholic Athletic Director, suffered what we think or believe, well, he family never wanted to make it really public what was wrong with him, so I guess maybe I shouldn't say anything about that, but we just wish him a speedy recovery. And he's going to be out for a while, but a real good guy. And Gloucester Catholic really had a bad year, and we just wish him a better year next year with Jerry Scharf passing away, the golf coach, and we wish Sidoti a speedy recovery.
Timeout called on the field. We're inside of 4 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter of the 17th annual Adam Taliaferro Foundation All-Star Football Classic. Blue trails white, 3-zip. Welcome back, 4th down and 11. Critical play here for the Blue. They're going to roll the dice, and now a flag. It may be a delay of game. We'll see.
He just crapped out. Did you say roll the dice?
That's right. Very good. And it looks
5
like,
white in the zone.
so it's going to be encroachment. Maybe they didn't crap out.
4th down.
Apparently, they're still
I
rolling.
think they rolled a 6. It's a little bit more makeable now.
A 5-yard penalty.
So Jeffers will realign this offense.
44-yard line.
Out of the shotgun, Jeffers with time, throws into the flat, has a man, and it's caught. First down, Blue.
Jeffers pass is complete.
Nicely done as Jeffers finds Jeff Perro from Florence.
Jeff Perro.
We talk about Salem and Woodbury, Florence. Is that one of the same type of schools? That seems like everything that Florence athletically competes in, they're able to do pretty well and find themselves in the playoffs each season. Probably one of those reasons why Florence is so successful. A guy with terrific hands on the outside. You see, sure-handed guy on third down. That's what the guy, like, again, Hotsepple and Perro, these are sure-handed receivers that are going to make a catch on a third down.
Inside handoff, and they go right up the gut, picking up about 4 or 5, and that was Kim Harris out of Morristown.
Carries the ball. Tackled by Tom Murdoch.
Again, one of the concerns for the coaching staff here is not only to win the football game, but maybe get the ball into some people's hands who haven't had it thus far. Perro and Harris, 2 examples of that.
And plus, they're fresh. I mean, you get guys that are coming in fresh, just watching them, and they want to make a play.
Out of the shotgun. And Jeffers overshoots Fortune.
Reggie Reed out of Pensgrove was all over the receiver that time, and Reed and Pensgrove, the Red Devils, enjoyed a fine season down there, and they have some good ones coming back. Hayward coming back, one of the big-time players out of Pensgrove. Nice job done there by Coach Kemp.
Jeffers now 6 for 12, 78 yards for the Blue.
Look at good young coaches. Kemp Carr is one of them. Down at Pensgrove, football and basketball.
Jeffers flushed out of the pocket, angling, and he'll go down just shy of that first down marker.
It looked like he was going to have some room, and everything closed. Great speed. One of them, Terrell Mack of Washington Township, a guy who just flies all over the field.
And the Blue team will call timeout.
Yeah, this is a tough decision here, but I'm going to think that they're probably going to go for it.
2-minute warning, actually, so perhaps they didn't call timeout.
Yeah.
Again, we have no scoreboard here last night. It was struck by lightning.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They may get a new and better version here at Rowan.
Oh, yeah, you got to do something.
You know, you being an alum, I'm sure you'll want to pitch in for that.
Sure. You can call me at, what's your phone number?
4th and 3 with the ball at the right.
I don't know, are you kidding?
Blue in possession.
The salary that Stan Ritter gives me here at Comcast and the Gloucester County Times.
You could probably put up a
Price of
replay,
gas.
a replay.
I can't even afford the water here. How about my cousin Ryan Caldabiano? Quick shout out to him. Congratulations to him. He's going to be the new head football coach over at Clayton High School.
Your brother has your telephone in the press box.
Pretty excited about my cousin getting a job over there. A good young football coach. I think I think a lot of people are going to find him to be an up and comer. He got a lot of praise in that Clearview youth football system, and was able to get that job. And sad to see Coach Washington go, one of the fine gentlemen in sports.
True gentleman.
Yeah.
4th down, a critical play here, 2 minutes. Blue squad driving. They're at their 30-yard line outside of field goal position. I formation. Jeffers will hand it off, and the ball is fumbled, picked up, and the White recovers. The White squad able to jump on the loose ball. Nick Seidenberg out of Williamstown, and we saw him over the years, a fine athlete. Johnny on the spot, so the White team will try to run out the clock, and I'm going to go out on a limb here without even looking at stats or the history of this series, Shawn, as the lowest scoring game in the history of the All-Star Classic.
Well, you're a wealth of knowledge. I'd have to say this is probably it.
I formation now for the White. Daly under center. Daly will hand it off. And a penalty flag here. That'll stop the clock. Lancaster, your carrier.
Tackle made by Matt Hoffman.
Hold. Repeat the down.
They're going to decline it.
So it was a hold, and they're going to decline it and call timeout here.
Well, I mean, we expected a close game. I don't think we expected such a low-scoring game. But to me, I love watching defensive games because you see that each play matters so much, and you get a big play. You know, the white squad was able to just get that big play with Robinson and Tally hooking up, which came at the right time. You know, calling the right play. Coach McBride maybe sucked in the blue a little bit with Robinson trying to use that speed. I know that he knew that you knew that the blue squad knew that Robinson was a threat.
I know.
So in that way, you're using Robinson as a threat. Guys, you know, all week you're saying, oh, watch out for number 85. He's got great speed. He gets to the outside. All of a sudden, the blue sucks up on that defense and sees Robinson coming out on a screen. They move up a little bit, and the big play to Tally was the difference.
Daly again will hand it off. And strung outside and knocked out of bounds. So a big mistake there by the white squad. Woodard stops the clock, and again, a critical error.
Woodard is knocked out of bounds. Gain of about 3 on the play. 3rd and 7.
That didn't work out well for the white squad.
No.
You don't want to jump out of bounds and give them the opportunity. Right now, Woodard probably being talked.
140 left. A
over there.
lot of time left for
Plenty
this blue
time.
team. And of course, that's only going to create further problems because the blue still has a timeout left, if I'm not mistaken. Daly's going to throw the football, has a man, and this will be a first down. Knocked out of bounds, but that's critical. Gutsy call by the white team's Mike McBride as Daly finds his receiver, and that should seal the victory for the white.
Well, that's McBride's confidence in Daly is saying, all right, I know this guy can throw. Well, let's get him out there and give him the opportunity to pick up this first down and try and seal this game. Now, this white team really, from what I hear, they really gelled together during the season or during this week of practice, really got into each other and really talked to each other and became friends and really had a lot of respect from Coach McBride. McBride was a guy who was almost like a military style of coach and get your toes on the line. If we mess up, we're going to do it again. And the kids really liked it. I mean, they really liked what McBride brought as a coach. In fact, at the Hall of Fame dinner, when they announced his name, the whole entire white team stood up and gave him a standing ovation with the respect and really the love that they just had with this guy for 1 week. So this is a guy, he makes an impact on young guys when you have 1 week with him, and he makes such of an impact that the guys actually got up and gave him a standing ovation. And in speaking with Daly before the game, he thought that was probably the highlight of his week is really that team coming together like that.
And conversely, on the blue squad, the general manager, Frank Holmes, said that this group is by far the best group we've ever had here. So, both of these teams really gelled throughout the week, and that's what makes this event just special for one more reason, because it's an opportunity for former foes to come together, and I think they really understand the importance of the event as a whole. Tally, your big play receiver, 5 receptions for 127 yards, 22 on that last play from Daly. Stood up.
We stop at the 45-yard line.
They could basically just run the clock out right now with this white squad. Getting some guys now coming in. Guys getting it again. Looks like, Muhammad coming in. They've done a nice job, I think, of rotating both the white and the blue, rotating guys and keeping them fresh. A real concern for both teams coming in because it was so warm, so hot.
This may be the last play. Again, the handoff, and not a whole lot there as Daly hands it off.
I know we want to wish all these guys good luck because they go on to a college, and we've been able to really get to know some of these guys for 4 years. You know, we've been doing this for a while, and you get to know some of these kids. We wish them the best of luck as they go on to college and not only represent their schools, now they represent Gloucester County and Camden County and Burlington County. We talk about Gloucester County because we do the local games, but you know, we'll be back with more of that after a break, right? We'll talk about that.
That's right. Stick around. Post-game interviews in a wrap. In just a moment, there you see the final score. The white team victorious in the 17th annual Adam Taliaferro Foundation All-Star Football Classic. We'll be back after a break. Welcome back to Rowan University, site of the 17th annual Adam Taliaferro All-Star Football Classic. Another fine game as the white team victorious 3-0. Rob Christ here along with Andre Taliaferro, the father of Adam Taliaferro. And there's just so many great things about this game. It's always so well organized. But, of course, first and foremost, it has your son's name on it. And what a great foundation. Talk about the importance of, you know, what this foundation does for the local community.
Well, I think it's really important to have everyone involved with it. As you saw, we had some of our young people here we've been able to make contributions to. And by these young athletes participating, they give of their time and efforts and help us generate some of the funding needed to assist these young men. At this point, you know, everyone can look at it and may not feel a connection. But I think, again, by seeing these young athletes, it can happen to anybody. So what these guys are doing is really great.
Now, of course, the story of your son is truly a miracle in many ways. You know, maybe briefly take a walk back in time. I mean, could you ever envision how far he's come?
No, well, again, when Adam first got hurt, you know, we heard some very dire prognosis, and it was scary. But, you know, the fact is that he was able to recover. We were able to make lemonades out of lemons. We have now a foundation that works to support other injured athletes, and we get the support of these young men to help us generate those funds. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. We help the community helps us, and as far as my son is concerned, it's a story that came out good.
Absolutely, and of course, before we go, I think everybody's interested in an update on Adam. Tell us how he's doing and what he's planning for his future.
Well, Adam is doing very well now. He's just completed his second year at Rutgers Camden. He's interning with Montgomery and McCracken, doing very well. And next year he should be an attorney and working, being gainfully employed, and off his daddy's dime.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm sure he'll bring that same tenacity that he brought to the football field when he was a player. Again, Mr. Taliaferro, thank you very much. What a great organization, and it's really my pleasure, my privilege to talk to you and at least have some role involved in bringing this to everybody. Thank you again. And, of course, as Mr. Taliaferro mentioned, a big part of this is the student-athletes who are a part of it, and our own Shawn Leary has just some of them.
I'm with the four Musketeers over here, and you know I know they were talking trash during the game. These guys are still talking trash with each other. Who had the best game? I'm going to start with Tom Murdoch, West Effort. Congratulations on a great season. Now, what was it like? Because I know the rival over here with Demetrius Hester. We'll get to him in a minute. But playing alongside of him, I know you probably butted helmets with him a couple of times, but they actually play with him next to you. What was that like?
It was fun. Me and him, we grew up working. We worked together a couple times. I know him through my 4 years of high school. He was a rival, but every time I played him, we were always friendly, messing around, hitting each other in the helmet. So it was great. I had a fun time.
Obviously, you had a lot of wins. You get to finish your high school career with another W. Congratulations to you, and good luck in college. Tom's going off to Wesley, and we have Big Meat here. Now, Meat, he's given up wrestling, but he's still going to play some football at Delaware. And I'm going to ask you the same thing. You know Murdoch. You've been playing against him. I mean, this guy flies all over the field. To play with guys like him, not just Murdoch, but other guys of his caliber, that must have been kind of neat. I know you play with a lot of talent at Paulsboro, but play with all these guys must have been a good time for you.
Yeah, it was great. Just felt it was a good feeling. You met a lot of friends real quick. It was like a lot of people on our teams. It's like we kind of clicked. it was like a real team. Like, seemed like we knew each other before this. Like, I think that was kind of the difference in this game.
Real quick, because I know you had a lot of moments in high school. What are you going to leave with? What was your favorite moment in high school in that 4-year career that you had?
Probably my junior year when we had that comeback victory on Glassboro in the championship.
Yeah, we remember that one. That was a good one. Best of luck to you, Delaware. I'm sure we're going to be bumping into you. Now, here's the big trash talker. Al, first thing he says to me is, he goes, "What's up, ugly?" And I know I'm home when I get to talk with Lamar Lancaster. And this is a game that you get you get all these big guys in front of you. Dirk Randall's, he's like an oak tree. And to have guys in front of you like that, and I know you had some good ones at Woodbury, to have all that in front of you, what was that like to have the big fellas?
That was amazing. Like, I really never had that in Woodbury. Like, they're not big like that, but it was amazing. It was fun. They opened up a lot of holes and gave us an opportunity to score or whatever, move down the field.
I know there's a lot of pride in this game. I mean, you guys really wanted to win this. I mean, it's not just an all-star game. You just want to have some fun. You come out to win this. What's it like to come off the winners?
It feels good. Like, last time I won was against Maple Shade. So I'm enjoying all of it. So yeah.
Well, I know you're going to go off and play some college ball. Best of luck to you. And always the character. We had a lot of fun with y'all. Take care. And the standout, Carmen Aliberti coming in. Great game from you. I think if you had to give one of the defensive MVPs of the game, certainly you had to look through a couple of big hits. We had a couple of slow-mos on you. Looks like you're knocking some people around, keeping in shape, headed for LaSalle.
Yeah, Coach Poe was making fun of me all week, telling me he had a girlfriend named Carmen back in high school, and every time he talked to me, he fell back in love with her. So he told me I had something to prove to him. So then after the game, he told me I proved it to him.
I hope Coach's wife isn't watching this. Well, anyway, I mean, I said up there, I said, you know what, probably the standout is the reason what kept him in shape, because this guy was all over the field. A fun game for you, but also you're testing yourself out there. You're playing against some good talent. I mean, some really good players, some good talent, kind of getting you ready for college. Is that what you're thinking coming into the game?
Yeah, all year every team has a couple good players that you get a chance to play against. But this game, everybody's an all-star. Everybody you got to worry about. So it was good to get the opportunity to kind of get practice for college, because that's what it's going to be like in college, playing against all-stars. And it was just a good experience.
And give a quick shout out for Del Thomas, because he's the difference in the game.
Del Thomas, number 2, really number 8. It's my boy.
Yeah, Pioneer comes through and gives the win to the White Squad. Congratulations, best of luck to you at LaSalle. And the Four Musketeers, them guys are just fun to be around, having a lot of fun. But what I like about this game is you see everyone after the game, both the blue and the white squad talking to each other, friendships being made. But also, you get to really see where the talent kind of separates itself. It looks like Aliberti may be ready to step in and play some college ball, and that's kind of fun to see.
Yeah, again, so much talent here locally, and the friendships that are made, the camaraderie, they last forever, and of course, just the foundation as a whole doing so much good for the local community, and it's great to be a part of this.
Yeah, I can't again say how great an event this is. Congratulations to everyone who takes care of this whole entire event, because it's a win.
It was a win. It was a win for everyone, but more specifically for the White Squad. They were victorious. Del Thomas with all the scoring tonight, 3-0, the White over the Blue in the 17th annual Adam Taliaferro Foundation All-Star Football Classic. For my partner, Shawn, Leary. You too, buddy. My director, Stan Ritter. All of the crew, I'm Rob Chris. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.